Hi there, Kendra Tolbert here. I'm a registered dietitian and yoga teacher, and I specialize in women's health and fertility. And today, as you can see, I have a very, very special guest with me. This is the hubby. I'm the only one mic'd up, so you won't be able to hear him, but he says hello essentially. So this class is designed for those of you who are trying to conceive. So you can think of this as a couples conception class. And it is a bit more vigorous than what I often share. So it's a great practice for the morning or midday, and it's great to do during your follicular phase or during that ovulatory phase when you tend to have a bit more energy. All right, so we're gonna go ahead and get started. So come down to your mats if you're not there already and turn to face your partner in a comfortable cross-legged position. You want to make sure that you are as close to them as you can get. And then you will reach out and place your hand onto the center of their chest. And then place your other hand on top of the hand that they have on your chest. If it feels good and comfortable to you, I invite you to close your eyes. Bring your attention to your breath. And then bring your attention to your partner's breath. Maybe you notice the rise and fall of their chest. You might even feel their heartbeat. Release your hands down. And if your eyes were closed, you can flutter them open. Take your partner's hands into yours, and then raise your hands to about shoulder height. Inhale to lengthen your spine, and as you exhale, twist to your left. Inhale, come back through center. Exhale, twist to your right. Inhale through center. Exhale to your left. Inhale, center. Exhale, right. Inhale, center. Exhale, left. And last time, inhale, center. Exhale, right. Come back through center. Release your hands. And then you might need to lean back onto your hands for this. And then you can scooch back from your partner a bit. Bring your legs out open and wide. And as wide as is comfortable for you. So that might look different for each partner. It might look different each day too, because our bodies are ever different. Good, good. So place your hands behind your back, and that will allow you to lengthen your spine. If you'd like to, on your next exhale, you can begin to bring yourself forward just a bit, still keeping your spine long. So your spine is long from tailbone to the crown of your head. Good. And don't forget to breathe deeply. Bring yourself back up. Bring your legs together. So you'll probably have to, put them this way. And then give your legs a good shake. Now, come onto your hands and your knees facing the front short edge of your mat. So you want your hands and wrists to be underneath your shoulders, your knees underneath your hips. And you might want to pad your knees because we will be here for a while. So you can either grab a blanket, a towel, or you can take the edges of your mat, lift them up, and then fold it back on itself, and then you have a little cushion there. So do what feels good to you and for you today. On your next inhale, arch your spine. And exhale to round. Inhale, arch. Exhale, round. Inhale, arch. Exhale, round. Continue inhaling and arching. Exhaling and rounding at your own pace, allowing your breath to guide you. Make this your final round. And meet us back in a neutral spine. Step one foot back and then the other to come into a plank. And if you'd like to, you can keep your knees down and your toes uncurled. That is one variation of plank. Do what feels good to you. Breathe here. Lower your knees if they were not lowered. Uncurl your toes if they were not uncurled. Place your big toes together and your knees out wide. Then send your hips back to your heels and rest your forehead down onto the mat or prop or even your folded arms so you can cross them in front of you and rest your forehead on them if that feels good. Come back up onto your hands and your knees. Bring your knees back underneath your hips, feet back in line with your knees. Bring your right hand to the center of your mat, just about underneath your nose. Then turn your right leg so that your right toes are pointing towards the right side of your mat, kind of like a kickstand. And then think of stacking your left hip on top of your right hip and lengthening your left leg out to the back of your mat. You can place your hand onto your hips, or you can reach up towards the ceiling. Lower your hand. Come back to your hands and your knees. Big toes together, knees out wide, press back into child's pose once again. Come back up onto your hands and your knees. Knees once again underneath your hips, feet in line with your knees. This time your left hand is going to come to the center. You're going to turn your left toes, left leg out so that your left toes are pointing towards the left side. Right hip is stacked on top of your left hip. And then your right leg comes out. Beautiful. Decide if you would like to reach up towards the ceiling. It's always an option. Bring your hand back down to the mat. Come onto your hands and your knees one last time. Big toes together, knees out wide. Press back to child's pose. Come back up onto your hands and your knees. I fibbed, so we are back on our hands and our knees again. You know the drill. So knees underneath the hips, feet in line with the knees. Step your right foot forward on the outside of your right hand. Turn your left leg so that your left toes are now pointing towards the right side of your mat. Bring your torso up over your hips. Hands onto your hips. You might want to walk your foot over, that front foot, so that it's in line with your knee. That can feel a bit more stable. Then you're going to bring your arms up and out to shoulder height. Flip your right palm so that it is facing up towards the ceiling. And then you're going to reach up and back for a side stretch. Come back through center. Bend your right elbow and bring your right forearm to your right thigh, and then reach your left arm up and over. Come back through center. Place your hands onto your hips. Then begin to make circles with your hips. How are we doing? Good. Change the direction of your circles. Good job. And then bring your hands down to the mat. Bring your right knee in. Bring your left foot out. So we are going to repeat what we just did on the other side. So create the same setup on the opposite side. Then bring your arms up and out. Flip your left palm to face up and reach up and then back. And you can also put your hand, if you have to bend a bit for some stability, onto the floor. Or a block, if you have a block, that'll also work. Come back up through center. Bend your left elbow, bring your left forearm onto your left thigh, and reach your right arm up and over. Come back up through center. Hands come down to the mat. Come onto your hands and your knees facing forward. Curl your toes under. Lift your knees. And lift your hips, good. Now send your torso back towards your bent knees. Then Then begin to lower your heels down towards the mat as you straighten your legs for downward facing dog. But only straighten your legs as much as you can while still focusing on keeping your torso long. Bend your knees generously to walk your feet forward to meet your hands at the top of your mat. When you're ready, slowly roll up to standing. Let the crown of your head be the last thing that comes up. Turn to face the left side of your mat, so the long left edge of your mat. Take your feet out, nice and wide, toes pointing forward, or pointing towards the long left edge of your mat. There we go. Turn your right toes to face the short front edge of your mat. And then bend your right knee over your right ankle. You can bring your hands to your hips for this. Then release your hands to allow them to float up to shoulder height, palms facing down. Reach to the right, and then reach your right hand up and over to the back. Bring your left hand to the back of your left leg. Still make sure that front knee is bent. Come back up through center. Bend your right elbow. Right forearm comes to the top of your right thigh. Left arm reaches up and over. Back up through center. Straighten your right leg. Turn your right toes to face the long, which edge is this? Left edge of your mat. And then turn your left toes to face the short back edge of your mat. Bend your left knee over your left ankle. Reach to your left. And then arm goes up and over as this right hand comes to the back of your right leg. Come back up through center. Bend your left elbow. Left forearm comes to the top of your left thigh. Right arm reaches up and over. Come back up through center. Straighten your left leg. Turn your left toes to point forward. And then bring your hands down. Walk your feet together. Whichever partner is facing away from your partner, turn to face them. Both of you, bring your legs nice and wide. Hands onto your hips. Inhale to lengthen your spine. And as you exhale, hinge forward at the hips. You might have to stagger with your partner so you don't bump heads. And take your legs as wide as you need to and bend them as much as you need to in order to rest your hands either along your shins, the tops of your feet, or down onto your mat. You can always use blocks to also bring yourself up. Begin to walk your feet in underneath your hips and make your way down onto your mat. We will end where we started, seated facing one another as close as possible so that we can reach out and touch each other's chests. Look at your partner. Reach out, touch their chest, hand to the center of their chest, and then your other hand goes on top of their hand. Close your eyes if that feels good. First, notice your own breath. Then notice the rise and fall of your partner's chest as they breathe in and out. Release your hands, flutter your eyes open. Inhale, circle your arms up overhead, palms touch. As you exhale, your hands will come to the center of your chest. Thank your partner for moving and breathing with you today. And thank yourself for doing the same. And thank you for allowing us to guide you in today's practice. Be well, and bye for now.